All right, so let's use the quadratic formula to help us solve this equation. First thing that I need to do is to define my variables. So A, B, and C. I know this is A, this is B, and this is C. So I'm going to write that though, because it's just easier, I think, to look at it. A is positive 2, B is a negative 5, and C is a positive 3. So from here, all I have to do is use the quadratic formula, and it's plug and chug from there. So I know that the quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Two alligators in the basement, right? And then you just have to plug and chug from there. So A is 2, B is negative 5, and C is 3. So x is going to be negative, meaning the opposite of whatever B is. So a negative 5 plus or minus the square root of B, which is a negative 5 squared, minus 4 times A, which is 2, times C, which is 3, all of that over 2 times A, which is 2. And now it's just order of operations from there and simplifying as you go. So x is negative 5 is a positive 5, plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared is a positive 25, minus 4 times 2 times 3, so 4 times 6 is going to be 24. So minus 24 all over 2 times 2 is 4 down here. Now I can simplify. I'm just being really careful and organized in how I show my work. 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 24 is going to be 1 all over 4. My next step is going to be to take that square root. So x is 5 plus or minus the square root of 1 is 1 over 4. Now from this point is where I'm going to need to break this off into two separate equations, because I have 5 plus 1 over 4, or I also have 5 minus 1 over 4. So we'll break that off. X can be 5 plus 1 over 4. And it can also be 5 minus 1 over 4. And we'll simplify each of those. So 5 plus 1 is going to be 6 over 4. That simplifies to 3 halves. And then for this one, 5 minus 1 is 4 over 4, which simplifies to 1. So the two solutions of this equation are x equals 3 halves and x equals 1. And those are your two answers, and you are finished. And you should be able to take both of those separately. So take 3 halves, plug that in for x, and you should get this side should be equal to 0. And when you substitute a 1 back in, you should be able to plug that in, and you should see that it also makes the statement true, right? You should get 0 equals 0 for both sides of your equation.